FGC news. So here's the most important FGC news to talk about here is that the International Olympic Committee has ruled that esports are in fact sports.
No, they didn't use that phrase.
Let's see. According to the official report from Olympic, the summit asked IOC together with GAISF in a dialogue with the gaming industry and players explore. Let's see. In order to be recognized, the concept of esports must not infringe or further recognition by the IOC. The organization guaranteed compliance. I don't know where their official statement is. Let's see.
It's right there on where it says Olympic.org.
Right here. Oh, yeah. Well, the committee recognizes the training and intensity of high-level esports.
No, that's not a quote. Just click on the link.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Let's see here. Protection. Nope, this is just the official website. It looks like here.
Can you just control F esports? Yeah, there it is.
Oh, the development of the summit discussed the rapid development of what are called esports.
What are called
E-S
ports.
Yep. And the current involvement of various Olympic movement stakeholders. The summit agreed that esports are showing strong growth, especially with the youth demographic across different countries, and can provide a platform for engaging with the Olympic movement. Competitive esports could be considered as a sporting activity.
There you go.
And the players involved prepare and train with an intensity which may be comparable maybe, to athletes in traditional sports.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be recognized by the IOC as a sport, the content of esports must not infringe on the Olympic values.
Woo!
And a further requirement for recognition by the IOC must be the existence of an organization guaranteeing compliance with the rules and regulations of the Olympic movement, such as anti-doping, betting, manipulation, etc.
Yeah. Super important for the International Olympic Committee for everything to be above board.
Yeah, I mean,
super important for them.
Hey, we just had manipulation in the FGC. So,
oh my goodness.
The summit asked the IOC, together with GAISF, in a dialogue with the gaming industry and players to explore this area further and to come back to the Olympic movement stakeholders in due course.
Congratulations! The Olympic Committee considers competitive esports could be considered as a sporting activity. What a phrase. Could be considered as a sporting activity. What an endorsement! This is so dumb.
I don't even care.
May all those people just leave. Just leave us alone. Nobody needs them.
Yeah.
I love the phrasing.
But if the Olympics needs commentators, hey, I love the Olympics.
Yeah, I'll shut up about hating you for 2 weeks during the Olympics.
Oh my god!
Actually, I probably wouldn't.
Dude, I honestly.
But yeah, I love the phrasing of this because it is super self-serving. Let's see, what is it? Could help. There was some phrasing there.
Must not infringe on Olympic values. So does that mean that then that means esports people can all go into a restaurant and buy a shit ton of food with $7,000 worth of food and not leave a tip and then leave?
Esports can provide a platform for engagement with the Olympic movement. Yeah, that's all they care about.
Yep. They just want to bring in the kids.
That's it. They just want the dough.
You know what the Olympic Committee should do, honestly, if they really, really, really want to make the Olympics a success this upcoming one and to bring in the kids. Just fucking stream every single event on Twitch. Now you don't have to worry about TV time. And now if you really like watching handball, which is really fun to watch.
It is, actually.
You can watch handball on Twitch when it shows up. Just put it on Twitch. Just make a deal with Twitch that says they'll have a special Olympic category, and it says swimming, and it says fencing, and it says equestrian horse riding, and it says handball, and it says whatever the ribbon gymnastics is, all that stuff. Talk about how great that this is. That would be the way to do it. That'd be the way to do it. I would take a bite out of that idea.
Man, those people suck.
You can stream, but you gotta pay NBC. Right, exactly. So just
more about what NBC wants.
Mm-hmm. Dude, commentate the fencing footsies. Dude, Driftwood does fencing, and he's talked about it. He's like, when he plays it, it feels exactly like Street Fighter because he took up fencing afterwards, so the comparison is apt to be made in that direction. Yeah. But he's like, so much of the concepts feels the same. It's all about distancing and knowing when to go in and predicting what the opponent wants to do. He says it feels exactly the same to him.
Sure, it makes total sense to me. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I thought it was funny that news articles were reporting this as Olympics thinks esports is sports, but it's not at all what they say. It can be considered as a sporting activity.
It's basically Olympics saying that maybe esports could possibly be sports.
I feel like they hate it. They hate that idea, but they know there's dough in it.
There's kids.
There are
demographics.
There's money in there, and all right, fine. It can provide a platform for engagement with the Olympic movement. So, all right, can be considered as a sporting activity. Come on, it's so dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
All right, enough of that.
Anyway.
Speaking of the manipulation that I hinted at, Canada Cup did release an official statement and did say that PC Marvel God and a Holy Order Troll are now banned from Canada Cup for life. Yeah. What do you think of that? Do you think that's too harsh? Do you think that's good? What do you think the situation is? Because Capcom Cup hasn't released any official statement yet, right?
Not that I have seen.
And nothing in this in the official release from Canada Cup as well really says anything about Killer Kai, or they're going to try to refund him or anything like that.
Oh, does it not?
So I don't think it did. So. Let me see. Let me make sure about that before I repeat that. So let me take a look.
In any case, I do...
Ooh, Canada Cup webpage has fancy music that you can't stop.
Canada Cup is just a fantastic story, even from when it started, when Lapchi...
Thanks.
That's so crazy. Okay, let's see. What they say is that Canada Cup prides itself on hosting world-class events, takes players' experiences and tournaments very seriously. This is why we were disappointed to learn that 2 players decided to violate established codes of conduct on the second night of our premier annual event, Canada Cup. With no prior precedent of this in our community, tournament organizers were required to make a judgment call quickly for all players impacted. All matches in which outcomes could have been potentially altered by the registrant playing under a false gamertag were replayed as if they were disqualified immediately. Players who misrepresent themselves under another player's gamertag or multiple gamertags with and without consent undermine the legitimacy of tournament events, are in violation of the rules. As such, Canada Cup is instituting lifetime event bans for both registrants and sincere apologies for the disruption their actions have caused. That was their official statement on the thing.
Well, I don't feel that it is terribly out of bounds. I guess I feel like lifetime ban is maybe a little overboard, but I certainly understand why they did it. They wanted to make it very clear that the penalty for this was very high. They wanted to dissuade as many people as possible from doing this kind of thing, because I think we all expect that this was not the only time in ever history that 2 people have ever done something like this, right? Presumably it's happened before.
I mean, the theory is that it's probably happened before, but most players, maybe with players, that it just wasn't consequential enough or something like that. But, I mean, it's definitely happened. It's got to have happened in some random
It must have happened at some point.
Right.
So it is important that everybody realize it's not something to do. That if you do it, you risk getting a lifetime ban.
Right.
Or even if it had been 5 years or whatever, amount.
Do you remember Apex on Shoryuken.com?
Yeah.
They had that tournament thing where basically they tried to create a ranking board. This was before people even played each other nationally at all. So they were trying to do their best to do that, and so they based the amount of points you got in the tournament by number of entrants. Right? So if it was a 32-man pool, you got 32 points for winning first or whatever like that. It was something to that degree, right? And there was one tournament organizer that would just sign up as many random people and non-existent people as possible, just so that if he won, that he would get more points out of it. You know, people are manipulating tournaments all over the place. So
and the consequences have to be high. So I get that. As I said, maybe lifetime is too much. I feel like the possibility of him being, regretful and maybe changing his ways maybe that exists. I don't know the guy, but in any case, I understand why they did the lifetime ban.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, maybe it could be overturned at some point in time, right? Could be. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be established. You know, because we said this last week that we don't want to get to that point where we have to have badges with our pictures on it and like scanning badges and doing all that stuff like
crazy.
that. So
crazy. So yeah, I get it, and I guess if you're PC Marvel God, you can enter other tournaments still. It's just Canada Cup that instituted this lifetime ban, or at least that's all so far. We again, as you said, we have not heard from Capcom officially. I wonder if tomorrow on Wake Up Wednesdays they may discuss it, but we'll see.
It's true.
We'll see.
It's true.
Something to watch out for.
But
yeah, man, it is a big loss for PC Marvel God financially speaking. I mean, he had just gotten third place at Evo. He had joined a team. New game, new possibilities. He definitely gave up a lot of things. And I'm not saying he shouldn't be punished for it. For sure, he should. But man, that was a very consequential choice.
Yeah,
and I hope that is a lesson learned for everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. We talked about this already. Injustice 2 launches on PC November 14th. Yes. So, for some people, it may allow them to get rid of their PS4s.
Oh yeah. You know what I'm gonna do? This is what I'm gonna do. So when I travel to events now, I've been taking my games backpack around, my games monitor, right, which is great.
Right.
And that also means I need to unplug my PS4, put it into my backpack. Actually, it's a whole process. What I'm going to do now is just leave my PS4 in the backpack.
Dude, that's actually really...
It's just going to be ready to go whenever.
That's a great idea. Yes. That's actually cool. Okay, I would be super happy about that. I would be super
I'm not even able to plug it in. It's just going to be in my backpack all the time. Awesome.
All right. Also news, we actually got pseudo kind of official numbers, but not really. But Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite has shipped 900,000 units worldwide. Now that's, again, that was the report, but that's shipping to retailers. So in other words, Capcom has sold 900,000 units to retailers. How many of those units have actually been sold to people, we have no idea.
Right.
And we'll probably be able to tell if we start seeing prices significantly drop. For those games. Like, if you start... I mean, the fact that Marvel, I got it for $40 thanks to Amazon on pre-order was already a bad sign.
Dang.
Yeah, it was $60 and it dropped to like $45 and I pre-ordered it. Wow. And of course, Amazon has that thing that if it ever drops again, you automatically get that price during the pre-order, so you don't have to cancel and reorder.
Dang.
And it dropped to $40. So I actually got Marvel for $40, okay?
Dang.
So this is... Dude, I'm an Amazon shill all day.
No, for sure.
I mean,
if I was able to get it early, I would definitely have used Amazon.
Right, and it's already dropped a lot on a lot of sites, so probably they're trying to move units right now. Not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
But they're hoping to ship 2 million units by March 2018.
Whoo, boy.
Yeah, that's going to be a rough one.
Hey, they can ship however many they want.
Look,
if you think about it, they could ship 10 million.
Yeah, but they can only ship as many as the retailers are willing to buy.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right? And if the retailers have like 50 copies left, they'd be like, whatever, dude, we are not doing this. And then they're going to have to find... I mean, if they ship that all to retailers, they're going to have to find a spot in Arizona, dig up this thing, and drop a bunch of them into the ground.
Yeah.
And bury them. I still can't believe they dug that up. And
it's so funny.
They found like EPs, dude. That is so cool. So funny, dude. But, I mean, look, some people are talking about putting X-Men characters in. There was that rumor going around that Disney was in talks to buy Fox.
Right.
I heard that those talks have ended. And that's
already?
I saw somewhere saying that that's not happening.
I just read about that like this morning.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Maybe,
okay.
But I might have been late. I haven't heard of it anymore.
I mean, it's crazy to me, though, that how much that makes it such a big difference to some people, because some people are like, I won't buy the game unless X-Men characters
No, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it makes sense. But 2 million units by March 2018, they got to do a lot of work.
They have to do a ton of work.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like a graphics upgrade patch is not out of the picture. Like, I feel like that's something they have to do.
Yes.
I feel like they have to do that. Otherwise, Frank West is going to be staring at the ugly stick for his entire life. So, dude, I love it. I know I talk about it every time, but he comes in the versus mode, he's like,
Yeah, you're right.
He's like looking right at it. I'm like, who hit me with the ugly stick, dude? It's like
You are definitely right.
Yeah.
Again, it's a very fun game. I really like watching it and playing it. But I absolutely understand why people are not into it. You know, many people, most people in the world, aren't playing these games to win tournaments or commentate tournaments, which is my role.
Right.
Most people are not doing that. They want to play characters they like. You know, there are other things, and the game just doesn't have that stuff. So I for sure understand it. And it's not even just those two things: the graphics and the lack of X-Men. It's the PR. You know, do people even remember the X-Men? I mean, you know, things like that. Like that's there's a lot of issues.
Yeah.
A lot of issues. Unfortunately.
I mean, the crazy thing about it is, like, the two biggest events so far, which has been SCR and Canada Cup, dude, the top 8s have been ridiculous.
Awesome.
Like, the gameplay has been fantastic.
For
like,
sure.
It's been great stuff going on there, but that's not going to do... Like, that affects this tiny portion of your potential customer base. Right. Half the people are not watching this at all.
Almost nobody, comparatively speaking, is watching.
So, they got to do a lot more to fix it up there. But again, is it going to be the same kind of thing that they do need to do? Because then what's going to happen is if they release the arcade edition of the game, and then it's just going to be the same thing where now people are like, I'm never going to buy a Capcom game when they first come out because I'm just going to wait for the arcade edition to come out, right? So, like, I've always believed that Street Fighter V needed a rebranding.
Yeah.
Marvel cannot be rebranded. You cannot
that ship has passed.
No, you cannot do it, because if you do it, then you've just set yourself up with this pattern, because everyone got mad at Vanilla Marvel 3 into Ultimate Marvel 3, because that was less than a year.
It was 9 months.
Yeah, everyone's like, I should have waited. And if you do that again with Marvel now, like, people are going to be like, what the hell?
No,
so, like, I feel like you just have to improve it as it is, and then, like, either re-release it as, like, a sale price, but it's the same game, not rebranding it or something. But they've got a lot of work to do with that. They sure do. I don't know if there's much they can do to solve this issue right now. So.
Yeah, I am worried for them, for sure. It's bad news for a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad news for Capcom financially, but not just them. It's bad news for, like, friends of ours who work at Capcom, like in roles at Capcom. I'm worried for them. I'm worried for, or maybe more like disappointed for, people who had hoped that the new Marvel game would be like a big thing for them.
Because the Marvel community had been running with no sponsor, with no support for the longest of time, and so guys like Ryan LV are like, okay, I'm going to get sponsored, I'm going to do well in this game, etc., etc.
If it had been a giant launch, and we're talking about, it's already sold 10 million copies or whatever, some nonsense. If that had happened, those guys' futures are way better, right? I mean, really, like there's a real world cost,
right,
to players and tournament organizers and potential commentators and broadcast teams. It's not just that Capcom is hurting because of it.
Right. So one thing I want to say here in the chat is that Emilio asked, how much will Street Fighter V AE cost? If you own Street Fighter V, it costs nothing. If you do not have any Street Fighter V, then buying it will be $40. But if you already own Street Fighter V, it is a free upgrade, because they promised you would never buy a new version of the game again. So they're making a new version. It's just Season 3, but it's called Arcade Edition, and it'll be free. So there you go.
That's cool. I'm very glad for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely sucks. I mean, people are talking about Yipes. Yipes is trying to make commentary work, and certainly he's a great commentator. But if Marvel had been like a giant phenomenon, he would be in a way better financial position. And it sucks because he doesn't have any control over that. The other people who were trying to commentate Marvel, like, I would like to commentate Marvel, but I can also commentate other games.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not really in that same position. I feel for them because they don't have any control over whether the game sells poorly. And that sucks. That's a crappy feeling.
Yeah. I hope. I mean, like, I know Yipes moved back to New York. I don't think that has anything to do with Marvel
I don't
or
think it
anything
does
like
either.
that.
Yeah.
So, but apparently he's going to be talking about it on NLBC tomorrow.
Okay.
So hopefully people actually get to see why he moved back. So
yeah. But yeah, people like Ryan LV and the whole Marvel 3 scene, the whole anybody.
Is
who
that
wants to
actually
play
true,
Marvel
Kay? Chris Schmidt quit his job for Marvel? I hope that's not true. I hope that's not true, man. Ooh, okay.
You know, even if the game doesn't sell well and there's not a big esports scene, if there's not a lot of money to be made, people are still going to be playing the game. Like, the FGC is still going to play that game because it is a lot of fun.
Right.
We're not going to drop that. But, you know, if you look at tournament numbers so far, we're talking hundreds. That is to say, 100s. Right? We're not talking 500s.
Right.
Right? I mean, it's not what it could have been. So, bummer. Sucks.
Okay, yeah, I guess Chris Schmidt tweeted it out that's what happened.
That super sucks.
Oh God, I hope. All right, I mean, I hope it works out. For
yes,
him.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Him, so, okay, this is actually really cool. This I'm excited. I'm personally excited for this. I know a lot of people are excited about this. ArcSys Works is setting up a North American branch. So they may start doing their own localization. Yep. They might start doing their own distribution here. Right. And in fact, if they have an American branch, that might also mean that they are willing to do more esports stuff. Because Japan does not know about esports.
No.
As evidenced by what Daigo has been doing, by what Momochi and Chocoblanca have been doing,
yes.
etc., etc. Their country just doesn't understand it. In fact, all of CPT is almost completely handled by Capcom USA.
Not even just CPT. The Tekken World Tour is almost it's NA.
It's like all Markman.
It's basically Mark,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. All of the big games that have tours, even if they're not based in the US or from the US IP, it's basically North American folks making it work.
Right.
No, exactly. I mean also Europe too. Not just, I shouldn't be like that.
Yeah,
but
I mean they have esports,
people.
but it's really roughly organized. Yeah, I mean GRAPHT, Team GRAPHT, for example. We'll talk about them a little bit later. They're doing a lot of work to promote it as well. I've talked to the guys who run GRAPHT. You know, I met him, and he was just like, we are trying so hard to show people what esports is in Japan because esports doesn't exist in Japan.
Yeah.
So he said we're basically trying to be the first real major esports team in Japan. And that's why they've sponsored all these Street Fighter players, right? So it's like you can see it. Everybody who's involved in the FGC in Japan, like they're trying to promote.
Of course.
Because right now in Japan, there is still that stigma that playing video games is wasting your life.
Yeah.
Right? Daigo talks all about it in his book. Like if you read his book, it's all like that's like the theme throughout the whole entire book. You know what I mean? So, and there's definitely gambling laws in Japan as well. You can't pay to enter because then it's considered gambling. So you can't win prize money. So they have it set up. Yeah, so you can only do it if an event is sponsored, but then you have to have free entry in there, etc., etc. So, I'm excited about this for ArcSys Works to set up North American office because if they can step up, if they can set up an ArcSys Works World Tour. Yeah, kind of thing. If they could set up their own pro tour and everything like that, I mean, I don't know who's going to be hired. I don't know if a bunch of FGC guys are going to get hired for that thing. I don't want to get hired for them, but hell, I am down to help ArcSys Works in whatever way I can. Yeah, I am down to help you guys once you guys get that established for sure, everything like that. So
yeah, no, I think it's great. I hope that it does result in things like that. And maybe if they hold tournaments, maybe they wouldn't be like single game. Single limb.
Right, and it's going to be set up in Torrance. It's going to be set up in Torrance.
In Torrance, California,
I mean, it makes sense because that's where ArcSys is. So I wonder if they're setting it up to be kind of close to them, or what if they buy ArcSys and they just turn it into their North American office, right? I mean, that would be kind of cool too.
That would be cool.
But it's cool because it's in SoCal, so I can totally help. Let me help you. Let me help you.
All right, man.
No, I am going to be shilling. Anyways,